Prix Wrestling. My name is Bill McCullough, and I invite you to join us for the next hour of the finest in professional wrestling that you're going to see anywhere, anytime. We'll be back in just a moment after these messages with today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. This match is one fall with a 20-minute time limit, and it is tag team action. One team is in the ring, and the other one now making their way, so let's do the introductions. Introducing at 230 pounds, coming from Philadelphia, Rocky Delesara. And his tag team partner today at 237 pounds, coming from Cox's Cove, Newfoundland, Tiger Williams. And their opponents today, introducing at 262 pounds, coming from the Mazir tribe in Africa, the great Malumba. And his tag team partner, the new international heavyweight wrestling champion, along with maritime heavyweight champion, 270 pounds, coming from Shediac, Big Stephen Petittpas. The referee is Ron Gauguin. Well, this is a big tag team match. Big for Rocky Delesara and Tiger Williams if they're able to score a victory in this tag team match against the likes of Big Stephen Petittpas and the great Malumba. And of course, well, the news in this match, you saw it, Big Stephen Petittpas is wearing the International Heavyweight Wrestling Championship belt. He is the International Heavyweight Champion, having won that belt that was brought to the Atlantic Canada area by none other than the Super Destroyer. Headlock by Rocky Delesara. And I think we've mentioned in the past, a lot of fans say, you know, why do the wrestlers go into this headlock? Well, you get a headlock that's supplied by a professional wrestler with their large biceps. I'll tell you, you'll know you've been in something. And Rocky Delesara, he does not know where he is after that tremendous series of maneuvers by Delesara and Stephen Petittpas to get out of the way and then to nail Rocky Delesara. Delesara thought he was on a roller coaster. Delesara giving away a few pounds and a few inches in height here to Big Stephen Petittpas. That certainly is not a concern to a professional wrestler. As you can see, professional wrestlers can look after themselves regardless of height and weight advantage that they will give away, and here comes the great Malumba. So far, we've only seen Rocky Delesara. We have not seen Tiger Williams as yet in this match. Rocky Delesara has not been able to, he says, Great Malumba says, go ahead, tag up. I want to get a shot at this Tiger Williams guy. The great Malumba and Tiger Williams. This match on today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. And what a tremendous wrestling season this has been. There is heat in the Maritimes. And the heat is in the Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling circuit. The tag, or semblance of a tag, and in comes Big Stephen Petittpas. Referee Ron Gauguin. Tiger Williams. Is going to have a sore shoulder and arm after Big Stephen Petittpas finishes with him. Rocky Delesara coming in, and now we've got a tag, and, well, a semblance of a tag at least, and it's the great Malumba in. And referee Ron Gauguin got a puzzled look on his face. He's not sure that happened. The great Malumba using Tiger Williams' weight against him. You get hit with that big fella, you know you've been hit. The great Malumba. The tag, and in comes Big Stephen Petittpas. And this tag team of Petittpas and Malumba are working quite well. Tagging very quickly. But Tiger Williams, with presence of mind, is out of the way. And Big Stephen Petittpas is down. Tiger Williams. It's not pretty to look at, folks, but he's doing a job on Big Stephen Petittpas. Tiger Williams, not your classy wrestler, but he has seen the tough times and makes sure that his opponent knows some tough times too, and in this case it's Big Stephen Petittpas. From Newfoundland, Cox's Cove, is Tiger Williams. The tag, and in comes Rocky Delesara. A double fist smash across the back of Big Stephen Petittpas, using the ropes to gain extra height and leverage. Rocky Delesara. And Big Stephen Petittpas. This match of today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. And while we have just a second or two here, we want to say hello to all the second shut-ins, those who are unable to get out to the arenas each and every week. We're pleased to be able to bring you these matches of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. Big Stephen makes it over to the ropes, which should guarantee a break, but it does, and I'm not sure that that's always to the best advantage. A whip into the turnbuckle, and down goes Big Stephen Petittpas. Pin attempt, and the referee, Ron Gauguin, didn't even get a chance to get the start on the count. Tiger Williams off the ropes, and the boot to the back, the small of the back. Rocky Delesara, convinced that he and Tiger Williams have Big Stephen Petittpas now. A body slam by Tiger Williams on Big Stephen Petittpas, and a pin, one. But there comes the great Malumba, and that ends that attempt. Well, we haven't had a tag, but referee Ron Gauguin lets it go. Big Stephen Petittpas into the abdominal stretch, delivered by Rocky Delesara. Cuban Assassin believing, or excuse me, the great Malumba, looking at matches upcoming. The great Malumba feeling that his partner was in trouble. Come in to help Big Stephen Petittpas out, but Big Stephen needs a tag right now. And he's able to get a partial reversal on Tiger Williams, but there's Rocky Delesara to take over where Tiger Williams is not able to. Big Stephen Petittpas needs a tag from his tag team partner, the great Malumba. Well, the wrestling skill that's involved in this match at this point in time is almost negligible. But the grit and determination that's required is maximum. And the great Malumba in to break it up. And again, no tag, but And Big Stephen Petittpas trying for a pin off the ropes into the package. 1, 2. That's all. Big Stephen Petittpas into whoa, head on. Big Stephen Petittpas and Rocky Delesara meeting. And we've got the tag, and in comes Tiger Williams. Big Stephen Petittpas not able to get over and get that tag, and he has taken a lot of heat for the team of the Great Malumba and Stephen Petittpas. Tiger Williams, shot to the small of the back. Williams with a chokehold. Big Stephen Petittpas with strength able to break that hold, but not able to get away from that eye gouge. And Big Stephen with a somersault and over to a tag. And here comes the Great Malumba. The Great Malumba on Tiger Williams. And Rocky Delesara, a headbutt. And Tiger Williams will be sorry. Now we've got a double whip and a reversal by Big Stephen Petittpas and the Great Malumba. 1, 2, and 3. That's it. Big Stephen Petittpas with a 1, 2, 3 over Tiger Williams, while the Great Malumba was looking after Rocky Delesara on this side of the ring. And here goes the Great Malumba with his victory dance. We'll be back with more professional wrestling here on Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling in just a moment. This match is one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Everybody's here, so let's do the introductions. Introducing at 246 pounds, coming from parts unknown, the former international heavyweight champion, the Super Destroyer, and his manager, Mr. Robert Joseph Bass III. And their opponent today, introducing at 235 pounds, coming from Montreal, Willie Trembley. And again, the interference of Mr. Robert Joseph Bass shows and rears its ugly head. Bass traveling around with that cane, intimidating the opponents of the Super Destroyer, and of course, Mr. Bass has his own problems. Willie Trembley and the Super Destroyer claiming maskful. No. Willie Trembley and the Super Destroyer, and of course the Super Destroyer, rather distraught these days, feeling rather naked without his International Heavyweight Championship belt. Yeah, you'll get it back. Don't you worry. Meanwhile, it's Willie Trembley who has a problem. And that problem is the person of the former International Heavyweight Champion, the Super Destroyer. Trembley looking for an out and finds one. And not happy with the actions of the Super Destroyer. And a hairful hauls him down. Referee Ron Gauguin saw that one. That was very blatant. And of course, the Super Destroyer has been suggesting that Willie Trembley had pulled the mask off the Super Destroyer. Referee Ron Gauguin tells Bobby Bass to move away from the ring area. And now Willie Trembley says, let's take it off. Let's take it all off. But referee Ron Gauguin stops that before it gets any further. The wrestler has a right to protect his identity. And for his efforts, he gets an eye rake. Willie Trembley now across the rope, being choked by the Super Destroyer, the former International Heavyweight Wrestling Champion. And here's Bobby Bass using the cane and the rope on Willie Trembley while the referee's attention is drawn away by the Super Destroyer. Again, the interference of no-class Bobby Bass in these matches has got to be stopped. You're on a path of destruction. You are destruction. Destroyed a long time ago, I think, Mr. Bass. Super Destroyer. And Willie Trembley, this match on today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, and the Super Destroyer being told to break, I believe, because of a chokehold. We couldn't see it. The former International Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, the Super Destroyer. And Willie Trembley, now coming up from the canvas. Willie Trembley with a knee lift on the Super Destroyer. Whipped into the turnbuckle, and waiting for Willie Trembley was the Super Destroyer with the knee, and 1, 2, and 3, that's it. That is all, and the fans saw the Super Destroyer with his leg over the ropes, getting that extra leverage to keep Willie Trembley's shoulders to the mat. We'll be back with more professional wrestling here on Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling in just a moment. This match is one fall with a 20-minute time limit. It's tag team action, as you can see, and we've got one of the teams in, and let's wait for the second team, and we'll get the introductions underway, and here they come. Finally, got them together. Let's now do the introductions. Introducing, at 240 pounds, coming from Pampa, Texas, no-class Bobby Bass. And introducing his tag team partner, coming from New Orleans, the self-proclaimed king of professional wrestling,
Ron Starr.
Rotten Ron Starr. And their opponents today, introducing, at 236 pounds, coming from Winnipeg, Rick Patterson. And his tag team partner, 227 pounds, coming from Beverly Hills, Buddy Lane. The referee is Bernie Richard. Well, finally, since they've been working together for so long in matches, we've got Rotten Ron Starr with no-class Bobby Bass. Tag team action on today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, and it's Buddy Lane and Ron Starr with a pin attempt right off. Buddy Lane able to work his way out. And ends up in a pin attempt himself. Let's take a look at that one. Ron Starr takes a look at Buddy Lane. He thought he had a few things going, but Buddy Lane able to get his way out. A headlock on Rotten Ron Starr. And finally they get them together. Rotten Ron Starr and Bobby Bass. They might as well have been teamed up because they've been acting like a tag team in many times with the interference in matches and so on. So finally you've got No Class Bobby Bass teamed up with Rotten Ron Starr. Rotten and No Class. Rotten and No Class. What a combination. Mama's boy. Up and over goes Buddy Lane into headlock takedown. And Bobby Bass in to break that up. And now a double teaming on Buddy Lane by No Class Bass and Rotten Ron Starr. Look out, Mr. Bass. Nobody's home. Tag team action on today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, and we have them combined now. We have Bass and Starr combined against Buddy Lane and Rick Patterson. And what an opportunity this is for Buddy Lane and Rick Patterson. A victory here certainly would be most impressive. Even a good showing is going to be a very worthwhile effort for Buddy Lane and Rick Patterson in this match against Rotten Ron Starr and No Class Bobby Bass. Shoulder tackle off the ropes, and another one. And into a headlock takedown is Buddy Lane in a tag, and in comes his tag team partner for the first time is Rick Patterson on Rotten Ron Starr. Up for that drop kick. Look at this Patterson fly. And No Class Bobby Bass says, come on, King. Well, he got a lot of coming on to do. The King has been dethroned. Oh, oh. The King and the Brain. My. Rotten Ron Starr. Got Rick Patterson, and nice reversal. Look at Patterson whip Ron Starr into the turnbuckle, come right back with the headlock, and hanging on. Rick Patterson. We can't say enough good things about this young man. Young man from Winnipeg really making his mark in professional wrestling. And Ron Starr showing his experience with a form of a suplex. And we've got the combined efforts of Bass and Starr working on Rick Patterson. Rotten Ron Starr and Bobby Bass teaming up on Rick Patterson.
He's a baby.
Rotten Ron Starr and Bobby Bass, and Bass going up for some aerials off the ropes right onto the left arm and shoulder of Rick Patterson. And that arm is going to be jelly. They're really working. The self-proclaimed king of professional wrestling, Rotten Ron Starr. And what a hall victory that must be, to be the self-proclaimed king of professional wrestling. And
a combination of what, Big Daddy?
No class Bobby Bass. Living up to his reputation for sure. And Rotten Ron Starr.
Come on, King, break it up.
And irrespective of the attitudes and the methods used by this Rotten Ron Starr, he still is one of the best wrestlers we've seen in a long time. But his actions really leave a lot to be desired. 1, 2, and a kick out by Rick Patterson. We've passed the 5-minute mark of this match tag team action. Tremendous action here on this card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. We've got Rotten Ron Starr and No Class Bobby Bass teamed up against Rick Patterson, who's in there right now, and his tag team partner is Buddy Lane. Little hair, and down goes Patterson. Ron Starr says, no way. Tag, and in comes No Class Bobby Bass. And they team up, and that left arm and shoulder of Rick Patterson is going to be in tough shape, and No Class Bobby Bass just wheels him down by the hair. Looking for submission is Bass on Rick Patterson, and Patterson's not about to give it up yet. Buddy Lane has not had much of an opportunity to get in this match. It's been mostly all Rick Patterson. And they're using the ropes. They're using everything they can use to inflict the punishment. And look at the punishment they're inflicting on the left arm and shoulder of Rick Patterson. He is going to be in tough shape. Rick Patterson with a straight right hand to the shoulder and the head and the chin of Rotten Ron Starr, but he gets a tag, and in comes No Class Bobby Bass. Rick Patterson. Rick Patterson being asked by No Class Bobby Bass if he gives up yet, but no way. He is not giving up with that yet. Rick Patterson hoping to get a break from his tag team partner, Buddy Lane. He'd love to get Buddy Lane in there right now to give him a hand. Rick Patterson has had an awful lot of punishment absorbed by that left arm, left shoulder. They've been working on particularly the elbow with all of the pressure moves and the boots, and there right again. A big boot of Rotten Ron Starr. And I'll tell you, Rick Patterson has taken an awful lot of heat for the team of Bass and Starr, or for Lane and Patterson. Patterson's taken an awful lot of heat from Starr and Bass, and Patterson's taken just about all the heat from No Class Bobby Bass and from the self-proclaimed king of professional wrestling, Rotten Ron Starr. Rick Patterson must believe that he's in a firing squad because he has been hammered. And there, finally, he gets a tag, and in comes Buddy Lane. Buddy Lane going for the pin. And he saw Rotten Ron Starr come in and stunts his growth a little bit. Look at that drop kick. Buddy Lane working over both no-class Bobby Bass and Rotten Ron Starr. And now Bass and Starr are teaming up. A couple of backbreakers, and then right across the throat is Rotten Ron Starr off the ropes. 1, 2, and 3. That's it. That is all she wrote for Buddy Lane as the team of Rotten Ron Starr and no-class Bobby Bass team up for a victory over Rick Patterson and Buddy Lane. Time of that fall, 9 minutes, 16 seconds. We're back with more professional wrestling here on Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling in just a moment. This match is one fall with a 20-minute time limit. We've got one of the participants now coming into the ring area, and we're waiting for the arrival of his opponent, who should be making his way into the ring very shortly. Oh, here he comes. In all his splendor. Now let's do the introductions. Introducing at 242 pounds, coming from Greenwich Village, Mr. Irresistible, Sweet Daddy Siki. Accompanied by Lenny Montana. And his opponent today, introducing at 240 pounds, coming from Toronto, Ron Ritchie. What a classic event this could turn out to be. Mr. Irresistible, Sweet Daddy Siki, against Ron Ritchie, the television champion out of Toronto. Ron Ritchie, one of the favorites, certainly, of the fans in the Atlantic Canada area. And Sweet Daddy Siki. He wants to have things quiet down, and you can see Sweet Daddy Siki is wearing his brass knuckles. Passes them to his companion, Lenny Montana. We're set for action. This match on today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, Ronnie Ritchie against Sweet Daddy Siki. Look at Sweet Man. Ron Ritchie is certainly aware of your maneuvers. Fans getting on Sweet Daddy Siki. They're kind of pleased with the way things are turning out. And Lenny Montana is very upset at the turn of events on his compatriot, Sweet Daddy Siki. Referee Bernie Richard trying to keep some law and order in there and get Lenny Montana away from the ring area. Of course, the interference that has happened in these matches and a takedown, and into the armbar is Ron Ritchie. And it looked like Sweet Daddy Siki was going to turn things around a bit his own way, but Ron Rich, right there, presence of mind and able to keep it going. And you can see Sweet Daddy Siki, good work there, complaining to the referee that Ron Rich was pulling his hair. And I think you get some impression by a good shot of the pain that's being inflicted by Ron Rich on Sweet Daddy Siki. Shoulder tackle off the ropes. And Sweet Daddy Siki was waiting for Ron Rich coming off the ropes. He's got a count of only one. And Ron Rich got caught by Sweet Daddy Siki coming off the ropes. And down and over goes Sweet Daddy Siki. Whip into the turnbuckle, and Ron Rich has his problem as Sweet Daddy Siki starts delivering lefts and rights with reckless abandon. And out onto the studio floor goes Ron Rich, where Lenny Montana takes over for Sweet Daddy Siki, who's got the referee tied up in the corner. Sweet Daddy Siki right here beside our television camera and now on the table. And you can see we're going to lose a monitor or something here if this keeps up. The ring is in there, gentlemen. Ron Rich is upset at the way things have been happening, and he is going to take his revenge on Sweet Daddy Siki. You see, Sweet Daddy Siki received those brass knuckles from Lenny Montana and right to the midsection of Ron Rich and the solar plexus, and I'll tell you, that would hurt. Ron Rich has got his problems. The kick out by Ron Rich. And again out onto the studio floor goes Ron Rich, courtesy of Sweet Daddy Siki. And here comes Lenny Montana with an eye gouge on Ron Rich as he's outside the ring right here on the studio floor. And again, Sweet Daddy Siki comes out. And in goes Ron Rich into the ring, and now Sweet Daddy Siki's out. We're having most of this match out on the studio floor here. Yeah, you just keep looking. Ron Rich.
Take a look, Canada! Take a look right there! Hey guys, we gotta make a match!
Lenny Montana. John with the fans and suggesting that Ron Rich's Canada is not doing too well, but the stamina of this young man is well known. Sweet Daddy Siki and Ron Rich. And now we've got a Pier 6 brawl. It's just who's going to last? Ron Rich and Sweet Daddy Siki, and oh, a double chop right across the throat of Sweet Daddy Siki. 1, 2, and just a twist out by Sweet Daddy Siki. Ron Rich had all of this. He's ready to take or prepared to take or anything else. He has had it. Oh, Lenny Montana. Look out, Sweet Daddy Siki. Sweet Daddy Siki has been disqualified by referee Bernie Richard by the interference of Lenny Montana, and here comes Lenny Montana on Ronnie Rich. And now, referee Bernie Richard is nailed by Sweet Daddy Siki, and here's Big Stephen Petittpas cleaning house on Lenny Montana, and then Sweet Daddy Siki, and we've got Rocky Delesara and Tiger Williams coming into the ring, and they pounce on Big Stephen Petittpas. Ronnie Rich is still, meanwhile, nailing Lenny Montana. We're going to call it as we can call it. Ronnie Rich nails Tiger Williams, and here comes the Cuban Assassin, and Man Mountain Mike. Fans, everybody is into the ring. All hell is breaking loose. The Cuban Assassin just nailed Sweet Daddy Siki and Lenny Montana. And we've got everybody cleared out, I think. Well, the interference that's occurring here has again appeared in the ring, and we've had just about everybody into the ring area, but nobody can understand the presence of the Cuban Assassin in all of this. Everybody wondering what the Cuban Assassin has in all of this, and Man Mountain Mike now invites the Cuban Assassin into the ring. Man Mountain Mike invites the Cuban Assassin into the ring. And not yet. Nobody trusts the Cuban Assassin, although he was the one that nailed a few of those fellas and tried to straighten up some of this.
I'll tell you what, Bill. The people can say what they want, but I've seen a lot of guys around the world. Ronnie Rich has wrestled every guy. Stephen Petittpas has been around the world. The Cuban's one of the toughest wrestlers in the world, and now they finally got on the wrong side of him. And they've even pushed him past the point. And I don't think Siki or any one of the boys that have been taking him for his money over the years would ever have enough guts to get back in the ring with him. And if anybody in this room, besides us three, we get behind him, and we know Cuban can take any one of them, and he'll go back to the top.
Oh, I tell you. Okay, well, the Cuban Assassin has been invited into the camp of Man Mountain Mike, Big Stephen Petittpas, and Ronnie Rich is not sure. Okay, there it is. And everybody would agree that the Cuban Assassin is definitely one of the toughest men ever to appear in the ring, and we now have, well, the Cuban Assassin over in the camp, and Big Stephen and Ron Rich in here, and I guess the interference in these matches is just too much for anybody to take.
Well, Bill, the big thing in the Maritime Provinces right now is the Cuban Assassin. Bobby Bass owes him a lot of money from the past. There's a big revenge going back there. Hey, everybody in the Maritime knows what the Cuban Assassin is. There's one guy here that knows how tough that guy is. I've been battles and battles with the guy. Bobby Bass, you better start training, baby, because you got a tough battle ahead of you. You know, I want to say one thing. You know, I know a Cuban Assassin, I know his past. But if it wasn't for the man today, I may not have been wrestling tomorrow.
Okay, well, Ron Rich, certainly all that interference that has happened, well, you've seen it for yourselves, fans, and we saw an inkling of it a little while ago, and here he is, the man of the hour, the man who has finally found a home, because he's been sort of a man without a home for the past little while, Cuban Assassin, and you've had enough of this, Bobby Bass and the types like that.
Bobby Bass, the people over here in the Maritime, they're right, you know, when they say Bobby Bass got no class. And the time that I flew Bobby Bass, you know, a lot of time to Cuba, and by airline, but next time, you know, I'm going to fly Bobby Bass, it's way up in the sky, you know, the air, but it's with this right hand that he's never going to forget. He's never going to forget, you know, the right hand, the power that Cuban assassin guy in this hand.
Okay, Cuban, and you keep dancing that thing around. I have a lot of respect for it, so I'm going to stay back. Well, we certainly wish you the best of luck as you continue on the trail, and with the type of support that I've seen you give here in the past couple of weeks, maybe you'll have some of those fellows in your corner if people team up, because you've seen those guys double teaming everybody, interfering in matches, and you've had enough of it, and I'm sure all the fans have too.
Is that the way that they're going to go now in the ring? When they talk about a street fight, they find one right here, you know. I grew up fighting since I was around 3 years old, and I still fighting, and Bobby Bass or the Destroyer, or Sweet Daddy Siki, whatever, they can come in the ring with me, and we can go in the middle of the ring, in the street, in the parking lot, or going downtown in any town over here in the Maritime.
Okay, Cuban, and fans in the Atlantic, Canada area, what do you think? I just guess so. Yes, fans, that is something to see the Cuban assassin do a complete reversal from a situation that he has known for years. He's been in the camp with the likes of Bobby Bass, Super Destroyer, Rotten Ron Starr, and so on. And right now, well, he's on the other side of the fence. And things have happened here in Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, but we'll be back to wrap up our program in just a moment.